Hello, it's Mrs. Helbig again, and today we are going to be cooking with eggs. Our episode today is called Excellent Eggs, and we're going to start with a lemon meringue pie, and I'm going to begin by taking an egg and separating it. I've got this handy dandy little tool here to separate this egg. I already have 2 egg whites in my KitchenAid mixer so that I can Okay, this tool separates my egg white from my yolk. I'm just going to go ahead and put that egg white in there. Like I said, there's 2 other egg whites in there, and I'll just save this for another recipe later on. And begin this. Just get that egg white started to stir up. We want to just kind of form some bubbles in there and get going. And so while that's going, I'm going to talk about our pie crust. We ended last week with the pie crust. We were making the Play-Doh, and so we ended up making some pie dough at the very end of the lesson. So this is a 1 cup of flour, 1/3 cup of shortening, a little bit of salt, and then 1/3 cup of water. Roll it out, and then put it in your pan, and then bake it. I put holes in it so that it would stay nice and flat. Already made the pie filling. This is, and I just went easy. I just did a Jell-O cook and serve lemon meringue, lemon pie filling. So it's the mix, some water, some sugar, and a couple of egg yolks. So I'm just going to mix that up. Go ahead and put this in my pie shell that's been baked and cooled. Okay, I'm just going to bring that around so it touches. There we go. Okay, and on our meringue today, we're using 3 eggs, and the eggs need to be at room temperature. And so far, we're doing a good job. The eggs are getting a little bit bubbly, and that's what we want. We want them to get a little bit bubbly. I'm going to keep going with that. All right, and I need 1/3 cup of sugar in my meringue, and then I'm going to use a pinch of cream of tartar. So let me get my 1/3 cup of sugar. Now, as we add this sugar to our meringue, we need to go really slowly. So I want to, yeah, it's looking good. I'm going to just put a little bit in at a time. Just go nice and slow with this. Wanted to say, too, that saw a lot of nice Play-Doh from you guys last week. A few of you made some really good-looking Play-Doh, and then quite a few of you made some really nice-looking Cheerio bars and Rice Krispie treats. So good job on hanging in there and getting some cooking done. I was proud of you. Just going to put my sugar in, like I said, a little bit at a time. And eggs form a lot of functions in cooking. Sometimes they're used as a leavening agent even. Their protein or their nutritional values, a really good, important part of their function. And then also they're a nice binding ingredient. I'm going to put a little bit, about a pinch of cream of tartar, just kind of as a stabilizer. Just a pinch. Okay, so while that's going, I'm going to wash my hands again. Remember to wash between your fingers, behind your hands, up the wrists. Wash your hands over and over and over again as you're cooking. The paper towel. Okay, so this meringue is going to need to be in the oven, so I'll put that on for 350. And while the meringue is mixing, we're going to go ahead and move to our deviled eggs. So I've boiled some eggs here. Carefully get those eggs out of the pan. I'm going to put those into this. Okay. Now, I'm going to put this over here to the side for just a second, and we'll go ahead and crack these eggs. I use the cold water method to boil my eggs, and that means that I put my eggs into some cold water in the pan. Make sure that the water is covering the eggs by about a half an inch to an inch, and then I just go ahead and put some, I'm going to put these back in here, and so I can rinse them off. Nice and warm. So I put the water on high. Once the water begins to boil, then I will turn the heat off and put the lid back on. And then I will just put my timer on for 20 minutes. It sets for 20 minutes. And do put some, let's see how we're doing back here. It's getting a little loud sounding. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to go just a little bit more because we do want stiff peaks. Okay. So, like I said, putting the salt on the eggs, I think really helps in the peeling process. You want to be real careful after I've got these all peeled. I'm going to go ahead and rinse them again and make sure I've got all the shells off. Eggs do roll, so I need to be careful. I've actually had to remind students of that after they landed on the floor. Okay. Well, that's a good question. I think that the best tip for getting the shells off easily, like they came off pretty easily today. Sometimes it's not. I think the salt helps, and like I said, I use that cold water method. Okay, this is looking fantastic, guys. We've got some nice stiff peaks. So let me go ahead and rinse these off. Make sure there's no shells left on here. Don't want any shells in our deviled eggs. We can help it. Yeah, there's one right there. Okay. I'm going to put these guys back in here. and let them sit for just a second while we get this meringue on, because we want to get the meringue and the pie in the oven. So we'll just change gears here for just a second. All right, take this off. All right, I am going to use 2 spoons to do this process. And I just want to spoon some meringue on my... Now, you can use any filling you like. If you don't like lemon filling and you like chocolate better, then you just go ahead and do this on chocolate, that's fine. Coconut cream, whatever. I'm just going to go around the edges like this and get the meringue kind of to touch a little bit of the crust so that hopefully it will not come away from the crust on us. Just carefully. So coconut cream, chocolate, the lemon, all of those are good choices for this meringue. And we're just going to put it in the oven. It's 350 for about 10 minutes just to get it toasty. We want it to look toasty brown on top. All right, our oven's 350. Good. I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of that on top and smush it around. If you want to make cute little peaks, that's fine. I'm just going to move it around and make sure I've covered all the lemon filling. One hole left. There we go. Okay. So, like I said, you can make that have as much little peaks and valleys as you'd like. Okay. So, this is going in the oven. And we'll put the timer on for 10 minutes. All right. So, back to the deviled eggs. Let's put this in here. Wash my hands again. Got the sticky meringue on my fingers. Okay. So, most of the time when you're dealing with deviled eggs, the recipe is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so, what I did the other day when I was practicing this is I actually measured everything. So, I know. Now, you'll notice that there's not a dark green ring around your egg yolk, and that's what you want. And like I said, the cold water method of now don't you slip away from me. The cold water method of boiling your egg, I think, works best. I do have another one of these pans, these deviled egg dishes. If this one doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. Yeah, these feel like they're going to slide right off of there. I may have to get the other one. All right. So I'm just cutting them with a sharp knife, getting the egg yolk out, setting the white on my serving dish. And I did this recipe for 6 eggs, but I boiled 1 extra just in case, because you never know. One's going to rip or what's going to happen. All right. So everybody cooperated nicely. So we'll just go with our 6. Okay. Next, I want to just smush this up. So I'm going to just take a fork and smush up my egg yolks. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to this. Am I making you hungry?
I feel like I'm a dog.
Okay, you can take the eggs home. Families that like to put a little bit of dill or even sugar or something else in there. So whatever your family likes. Okay, good deal. So now it's time for the mayo. So I'm just going to, as I was practicing, found out that I need 5 tablespoons for 6 eggs. So we know that 5 tablespoons half of a tablespoon of mustard. Okay, so 5 tablespoons of mayo and a half a tablespoon of mustard, salt and pepper, and then we just stir that up. So incorporate all those egg yolks into your mixture. Okay, so once I've got all this mixed up, then I'm just going to go back to my egg whites and fill them in. Now, you can do this real fancy and put this in a piping bag and make your egg yolk mixture nice and fancy. But I usually just do this. Egg yolk or deviled eggs are great for holidays. A lot of people like to use them for holidays, picnics. One thing you do need to know about deviled eggs is they should be served cold. So keep them cold if you're making deviled eggs for your family. Keep them cold in the refrigerator until you're ready to serve them. Okay, last one. All right. And I usually do a taste test, but we'll just assume that I got it right. Now, if I don't put paprika on it, my mother says they're not finished, so I got to put some paprika on them. I'm just going to barely just put a little bit of paprika on there. Now, if this was a serving dish that I was going to put on the table for for people to eat, I would either do more eggs and fill this center in, or I'd put in pickles or olives or some other cute something in there to make that an attractive tray of eggs. Okay, now next thing. Going to move my dirty dishes over, wash my hands again, get them wet because I have deviled egg goo all over them. And now let's look at the fun food that we have for this week. So each episode we'll have something to cook, something to make, but I'm also going to have a fun food. So today's fun food is a couple of animal things. We have ants on a log, and we have octopus hot dogs. So let's get this stuff over here so you can see better. So ants on a log. Just a little bit of peanut butter. Now, last time I meant to say this with your Cheerio bars and with this, if someone is allergic to peanut butter, then you probably need to find an alternative. And a good alternative for this would be cream cheese. For the Cheerio bars, if somebody's allergic to peanut butter, I would just say leave out the peanut butter and make them more like a Rice Krispie treat with no peanut butter in them. So here's our log, and here are our ants. We're using raisins. You could use craisins. You could use chocolate chips, whatever you want. But there's our little ants on a log. And we have octopus. We have octopus hot dogs also. Let me get fork out here. Okay, I boiled these earlier today, this morning. 5 minutes. Okay, whoops. Now you guys are rushing me. Whew. Okay. So that's what an octopus hot dog looks like. Okay, so let's move over to our sewing project for this week, and that is a lined bag. So I've got 2 examples of a lined bag here, and the first one is just plain material. So you've got keep your books and your crayons or whatever. So it's just a reversible bag. It takes. We got our pie. We got to get reversible bag. Then let's check that pie. Looking fantastic. Let's get that out of there. All right, turn off our oven. So here we go with our pie. Got our deviled eggs. There's our lemon meringue pie, and we're just going to let that cool and put it in the refrigerator. So one more time, I don't want to forget the bonus questions for today. What do these things mean? We've been talking about eggs. What does it mean to say don't put all your eggs in one basket? What does it mean when someone says he's an egghead? And what does it mean you cannot unscramble eggs? What do those things mean? You put that on your RSU TV form. One other thing about the sewing project, this is another bag I made, but I want to talk about the type of material that I put. This is called crumb quilting. So what you do is you just take all of your scraps and you start sewing them together into make a piece of material basically. This one's 16 by 18 for the front and the back, and then I lined it with the blue material like the strap. Okay, as a review, just because we want to get this, I'm going to make this for Mr. Osborne. A review, omelets. Got a half a tablespoon of margarine, and if we have to go away before I get this finished, thanks for watching. Come back next week, and we'll do some more cooking. But review for the omelet, saute your vegetables and your meats, then take that off. Okay, take that off of the heat, and then you'll put in your egg liquid. scramble these up really well. As soon as your meat and your eggs, or excuse me, as soon as your meat and your vegetables are sauteed, like I said, just put them off on the plate. And then you'll cook your egg. Remember, as we were cooking our egg, we let it get cooked around the edge, and we just kept pushing it back and pushing it back until we could get all the liquid off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to saute this meat and vegetables on another skillet afterwards. I'm going to do just the egg part right now. And like I said, if you need to leave before I get this all finished, that's fine. That's fine. We'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and start this, and then you can leave. But I'm going to put my egg in here. Okay. And I promise I'll saute those things for you for your omelet. I'm going to cook this on medium heat, and as it's getting done around the edges, I'm just going to push back and continue to do that and make sure all the egg liquid gets cooked. I'm just going to keep pushing it back, pushing it back. It's okay for it to be a little shiny, but you don't want any runny egg on top of your omelet. So we will finish this. I'll let Mr. Osborne have it for his early lunch today. Thank you for coming. If you've got any questions, just email me. You can get a hold of me at rochelle.helbig@sequoiaeagles.net. Thank you for watching.